youtube.com/MayhewMayhem. That's youtube.com/MayhewMayhem.
Hello and welcome to another episode of 30 Minutes of Mayhem. I am your host, my name is Michael Mayhew, and I am here with my co-hosts.
Hey everybody, it's James, and we're joined here today by this cum dumpster.
What's up everybody, it's me, Greg.
30 Minutes of Mayhem is available on YouTube, iTunes, Android, Stitcher, and Spreaker. All you have to do is search MayhewMayhem. That's MayhewMayhem, and make sure to rate us 5 stars.
Also, you can help us afford to continue doing the show by donating to 30 Minutes of Mayhem via PayPal. Just use the email address in the description, 30minutesofmayhem@gmail.com.
As I said, welcome to 30 Minutes of Mayhem, the podcast your mother can be ashamed of. And Greg, tell me why is this the podcast your mother can be ashamed of?
Because we ship hard drugs over the border for cartels.
That is not factual at all in any way, shape, or form, but if it was, that would be a reason why this is the podcast your mother can be ashamed of.
It had to be factual.
On this episode, because Scott's work schedule is a bitch, we have another guest, a returning guest, a guest that we had on episode 31, a good friend of mine, that told a very fucked up story about something that I did, and that is Corey.
How y'all doing?
Right. Real quick, before we start this, Mike, I got something to say.
Oh, okay.
So, this is on my mind. I don't know why I was thinking about it. Maybe because my friend just got a new house. But a few years ago, one of my close friends had just moved into a new house. I decided to cook bacon for him, for a housewarming gift. Breakfast in the morning. Doesn't seem bad. Well, I'm cooking bacon, and I don't have any clothes on. I'm completely naked in my friend's house cooking bacon. So he comes downstairs. He's like, "Oh, something smells. Oh my god!" And he sees my dick. And I'm like, "How do you like your bacon? You like it hard and crispy, or do you like it floppy and chewy?" And
What?
he was like, "I definitely don't like it hard, so don't get hard." And I was like, "I'm talking about the bacon, man." And he's like, "What if my mom came in?" And I'd be like, "I'd offer her bacon too, and see if she'd like to screw right here on this counter." And we got in a little argument, but needless to say, he caught me naked in his house cooking bacon. It was pretty fun. His sister came down too, and she had something to say. She was screaming at us, "What if my mom came home?" It was really funny. Yeah, her boyfriend was there too, and he wasn't happy about it either. He's like, "Put some clothes on."
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why this is the podcast your mother can be ashamed of. So, Corey, at this point, the story you told on episode 31 has, I've repeatedly heard about how funny it is, or or how fucked up I am, or how much of a piece of shit I am. But normally, most of the time, it's how fucking funny the story is, and you've been requested to come back. Finally got you back on, and, well, I want to hear another story that, I guess it shows how much, again, how much of an ass that I am when you really break this down. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, it was very shortly after we got out of school. I'm working, pretty much 5, 6, 7 days a week. No big deal. I get a phone call from Michael. Says, "Hey, the usual BS. How's it going? And he says, "Hey, we're all gonna go to a strip club in Gainesville. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, I'll go. Strip club, titties? All right, cool. Hell, I'll even drive." He's like, "Well, all right." He says, "But you have to wear something nice. I'm not really known as the world's best dresser." Basically anything nice for me is anything that doesn't have holes or stains.
This is very true.
Time goes by. We finally get to the day where we're all gonna go, and I believe it was me, Michael, Larry, the cunt, Samantha, Lacey, and I believe Samantha's girlfriend. For some unknown reason, we all piled into my piece of crap little Bronco 2. Like, this thing is just totally jacked all the way around. Like, we all barely fit in. I got people, like, in the trunk area. Horrible. And I'm just going as fast as this little thing will go, and that's like a whopping 75 downhill with a good breeze. Scream down the interstate, and on the whole time, I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to a titty bar. Whole time, I'm all excited about it. Well, on the way there, Larry, he was screaming, just, weird shit. Well, Larry kind of tends to do that sometimes. He just, just screams. Weird shit. I don't know. What he was screaming was, I swore up and down, he was saying cop. So I'd always be slamming on my brakes, where? I don't want to get caught, And everybody's just busting out laughing. I can't figure out why. And I'm like, man, that's not funny, I don't want to get pulled over. I can't afford a ticket right now. So we just keep going. We finally get to Gainesville. And I know Gainesville area kind of decent, and I don't know of any titty bars in Gainesville. But I'm like, hey, it's, the 2000s, maybe they opened one up, finally got some sense there. So we park, and we all bail out of this thing. We start walking towards this building. There's a line, way around this corner of a building. So we're standing there. Once we get around the corner of the building, the line still continues. But it's you go up this wooden flight of stairs, and it's on the second level. I'm like, that's kind of weird. I don't think twice about it. Then, we're all sitting there BS and having a good time. Well, we get to the door. Now, I've been to plenty of biker bars where they Photoshop people's heads on different people's bodies. It's all good and fun. They leave them on the wall for years at a time. I think this is, just normal, the regulars screwing with each other. Well, on this door, there's this great big, huge, fat woman's body wearing lingerie, and it's got a dude's face on it. And I look at Michael, I'm like, that's fucked up, He's just losing it laughing.
On this poster that he's talking about, it said slut party really big on this poster. But it also had what looked like extras from the Village People also on there.
I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to it. I just looked at the main focus of it. So, not paying a whole lot of attention, because my mindset's still titties. So we get to the door and they take your ID if you're under 21. Even though I look 45, I still take the ID. Start walking in there, and we get to the middle of the bar area. Everybody just kind of turns around and looks at me, and they you know where you're at, Corey? I'm like, Gainesville? I want to say as they're trying to get ready to tell me, I look over one guy's shoulder, and there's this great big huge 6'4" black guy dressed just like Tina Turner. But from the distance and the darkness of the bar, I was like, whoa, I forget what the hell I said. Mike, what did I say about that?
You said, oh God, I do not want to see her naked.
Yes, because I was under the impression that we were in a titty bar still for some unknown godly reason.
He still didn't realize where he was at this point, and it was Larry that told him to look around.
I look over, and there's two guys making out at the bar.
Oh.
And they're like, you're in a gay bar. I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm wanting to leave right then and there. Somehow, all the girls convinced me to stay. I didn't have any cigarettes on me. Samantha's girlfriend, she had Parliaments. I don't know why anybody would smoke those, but had them. And I'm just chiefing on these things. She gave them to me. I guess she felt bad. I'm not sure. I'm just staying in the corner because I'm yeah, I don't want any part of this anymore. I'm done. I want to leave. Mike and Larry are trying to make the best out of it. They're out there, dancing with people.
Hang on, let me interrupt you real quick there. There's this part that doesn't involve Corey that I want to tell from this story. So I'm dancing with my girlfriend at the time, and Larry's dancing there with one of the other girls, and so we're all dancing together, and all of a sudden, someone slams their hand down on my shoulder, and I was a little terrified for a second, right? And then I turn and look, and I realize it's Larry. He's got his hand on my shoulder. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? If you're going to come out and I'm not the guy, all right? I'm not the one. Well, he's doing that flicking his eyes thing, look, over there.
Yeah.
Behind me. He's kind of rolling them backwards to try to look back. So I'm looking behind him, and there's this dude all grinding all up on him. And he's just getting in there, fucking grinding on him. And Larry was doing the eye flick backwards thing to tell me, hey, help me get this dude away from me. So I turned towards Larry, and we started dancing on each other, and the guy got so fucking pissed off. He was and stomped off. And Larry was like, thanks, I owe you one. I was like, you're fucking right, you do.
After a while, they clear out this one little dance floor area. And I had our friend sitting in my lap. I'm like, don't move. And she's laughing at me, she's having a great time. Some big, huge drag queen is out there, having fun with everybody. Well, I look over behind the drag queen's shoulder. There is my cousin. I didn't know he was gay. I'm like, oh my god. Lacey's like, what? I'm like, you see that redhead dude over there wearing like the pink shirt, cargo shorts, and flip flops? He goes,
Oh.
yeah. I said, that's my cousin. She's like, oh my god. I'm like, this is just fucked up. I don't don't let him see me. You know, that's all I'm worried about. I don't want him to be like, already out to the family and be like, guess where I seen Corey at? No, it's the last thing I know. Like, Jesus, this night sucks. I mean, not only can I not drink, there's no titties anywhere. I just want to leave. Well, finally, after so long, we all decide we're going to leave. All right, great. So we all pile in that little truck of mine and we're just hauling ass out of town. And on the way back home and on the interstate, everybody's just dead silent, quiet. Like, I didn't have a radio in the truck, so I mean, you heard everything. And Michael's sitting in the passenger seat, the front seat, and he's just like completely turned around in the seat, staring in the back seat. And as I'm getting off the off-ramp into Ocala, I notice he's doing this. I'm like, what the fuck are you looking at? And I look in the back seat. Samantha and her girlfriend are just making out like fucking crazy. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Y'all can't do this shit when I can at least watch. This is bullshit. Oh, I went off the friggin' deep end. And they just break up and they're laughing. I'm like, this is I don't want to play no more. Fast forward.
Yeah, this is a few months later, but before we get to the few months later, I want to comment on a couple things he said. What Larry was yelling when Corey thought it was cop, when we were on the way there, Larry was yelling cock to inform Corey that we weren't going to a titty bar. It was Larry's subtle way of saying you're going to probably see cock where we're going. Now, a few months after this is the next part that he's going to tell, because it's a follow-up basically with the exact same crew with the addition of Ryan.
Well, somehow we all managed to go over to Daytona Beach. We're going to spend a few days out there. We would go to the strip club called Biggins. Love the name. Somehow through the time, I got just plastered. We had been there, a couple times before, and I mean, I couldn't walk. I was so drunk. Like, I sat down on the edge of my motel bed.
Yeah, we're back at the hotel at this point, and Corey's really drunk.
Yeah.
He's talking about the strip club there for a second, but yeah, we actually went to an actual strip club and paid for his entry and all that shit to kind of pay him back for the stunt that we had pulled on him previously, and now we're back at the hotel.
I had just gotten shitty drunk. Ryan got mad and he ran off with some random dude he met in Daytona, whatever.
I think that was the night that Ryan wrote that one note. I still have the note. It's on my wall in Florida. It's one of the funniest things. And he put it on Larry and I's door because we had two different hotel rooms. It was Larry the cunt, myself and Lacey in one room, Corey, Ryan, and the other two in the other room. And Ryan wrote a note to Larry and I, and it said, "Went to party, see you bitches in hell." That was all the note said, and he taped it to our door. So I still have that note to this day.
And I'm sitting there on the edge of this bed, and there was two beds in this room. We're on the ground floor, and there's like a sliding glass door. I'm sitting there, like I was getting ready to just either puke or lean over and pass out or something, Well, Samantha and her girlfriend come into the room, and they lay down on a bed in front of me. Like, I am literally 2 feet away from them, and they're just going at it. And I'm like, all right, in my head, hell of a show. All right, sweet. If I sit here and be quiet, this will be good. But also in my head, being in the drunken state I figured, well, hell, if I be good and they look over and see me, maybe they'll invite. Like I said, it was a long shot in a drunken state. But I just kind of went with it. And I'm sitting there just kind of doing the woozy fucking, little circle, sitting down. Just sitting there watching. Mike, he comes into the room, and I look up, and I'm like, shh. And he looks
like they're wild animals, and I'm going to scare them off. He's
like, that's exactly what I was thinking, don't let them know we're here. And a very short time after that, Ryan comes busting through the sliding glass door. Like, he opens it, and he's like, oh, hell, that's my bed. You can't do that on my bed without me on it. Well, they start laughing and giggling, and they just get under the covers. Like, they totally pull the covers completely over them, like turtle style, and you can't see, even hair, And I'm at this point, you dick. I'm gonna kill you. And they just kept going at it, nothing's wrong. And the most screwed up thing was, after all of that, and they like got under the covers, he just left.
Wow.
Like, he straight up left.
What a
And like
dick.
didn't come back. I leaned over onto my pillow, my feet still hanging off the bed. I woke up in the exact same position. I did not move.
That's fucking hilarious. I'd probably die. I'd hate you so much.
You
But
had
then I'd
told-
love you
I'm
after
sorry.
you took me to the bar.
That was a great story, though. Thank you, Corey.
It was.
Not a problem.
Yeah, there's more, and we'll have him on again eventually, tell another story. But you guys ready to move on to this next topic? Okay, so
I didn't mean for it to sound that way. That was a little weird.
yes, it was. Oh Jesus, it sounded like you should have been performing at that club that we went to. But it sounded. Okay, you can email the show by using the email address 30minutesmayhem@gmail.com. You can also message us on Facebook, tweet at us on Twitter, anything you want to say to us, and if we like it, we'll probably read it on the show, or if it's funny, whatever. So we got a few emails about Nick, and this one I like the best, so I'm picking to read it. It says, I found the podcast on YouTube from related videos, and I've been listening on and off since. And I am wondering if Nick will ever be returning to the show. He was my favorite, and I miss hearing his sense of humor. I am also surprised the podcast does not have more viewers. You guys are really funny. Julia from New Hampshire.
Oh, wow. Somebody from outside of Ohio. That's awesome.
That is
Or-
awesome.
Or outside of Florida, for that matter, or California, because you do have to remember for a while
Oh, yeah.
Ryan was in California. So Julia from New Hampshire, I am shocked that we have listeners from outside of, our general vicinity, although as far as YouTube goes, I do have some subscribers from across the world. But will Nick ever be returning to the show? He was on episode 55 and 50. I don't know if you heard those. He's also going to be on some more in the future. If you mean in a full-time aspect, will he be returning to the show? Time will tell, basically, because he does have a pretty busy schedule. Anything else?
We would like him to return. I mean, we really would, because we basically share the same sentiments. I mean, Nick was, I'm not going to lie, a joy to work with. We also miss having him on the show, and hopefully one day when the planets finally align with each other and, world harmony becomes a real thing, he'll finally be able to come back onto the show. But, until then...
Yeah, it's just a guest spots here and there. Is pretty
Which
much.
I guess is better than nothing. I mean, but...
Sometimes just a little sprinkle of Nick here and there does the trick.
Yeah. And that sounds really, really bad, now that I think about it. But, whatever.
This next one here, if I didn't already thank you, Julia from New Hampshire, thank you.
Thanks, Julia.
Yeah,
So-
thank you for listening.
This next one here, they didn't leave a name, so like last time, I'm not going to give out the email address, and it just simply says, "Will Mahoney ever be on again?" Now, she was on episode 48, and the answer for you, listener, is yes. Next week and the following week, we'll have her on both of those episodes. I absolutely love having her on. And she has been the most requested to return. And as I said, episode 60 and 61 will both have her on it. So you're going to make sure that you listen to those.
No, because I really enjoy having her on, too, because she's a really, really good guest.
Yeah, she's really fun. She's hilarious.
So she says some funny shit. But she'll be on next week and the following week. So make sure you listen to those episodes. So thank you, Mr. or Mrs. No Name. You didn't leave a name, so I'm not going to call you out by name. So, but if you want to be recognized on the show when you write in an email, just make sure you sign it with whatever. It doesn't have to be your actual name. If you want to, like, a username or something of that nature, whatever. But other than that, I'm not going to say who it's from. The third one here, because I wanted to do all these because they're about people that we've had on or former members of the show. I'm assuming a majority of these actually came after, was it episode 53, when we answered questions from listeners and before, and we talked about former members of the show, and most of these came after it, so I guess they're trying to find out the big deal. This third one here says, "Hey, where the hell is Ryan? He is a funny motherfucker. I don't know if he's been on any episodes since the announcement that he left. I haven't listened to every episode. If so, can you link them to me? Dan. Yes, he has been on a few other ones, but they're older clips from different things, and I don't remember right off the top of my head what episodes that they're on. I think there's 2 to where there were never before heard clips that he is in, but not in any new manner. And I will find out what episodes they are, and I will email you the links.
As Ryan would say, cheeseburger. No, I love Ryan to death. He's just always been the type where, he goes and does his own thing for a while, then he'll come back around. That's just kind of always been him. So I imagine he'll probably end up, talking to everybody again, and then he'll probably run off and go do something wild and crazy like he always does.
I also love Ryan to death. I wish that he wouldn't do the thing that Corey described where he runs off and kind of does his own thing and then he comes back. That's a little annoying, I'm not going to lie, but I do consider Ryan one of my best friends, and one of the reasons why I loved having Ryan as part of this show was not only his compassion for the show when he was on the show, but is that Ryan's a wild card. You never know what that dude's going to say.
No, oh my god, no.
And he absolutely did up the hilarity factor, because you literally never know what's going to come out of that dude's mouth. And not only that, Ryan from the Headlines is my favorite segment we've ever done, and I would love to be able to do Ryan from the Headlines again. But I mean, can't really do Ryan from the Headlines without Ryan, so he obviously can't do that. But I would absolutely love for him to come back on the show, and who knows? Maybe we'll have him on as a guest sometime. Hopefully, that would be nice.
I would like to have him on again because, like you said, he was always really wild and said some hilarious stuff. So I mean, well, I would also like to have him back on as at least as a guest. That would be really nice to at least have him back on for an episode again.
I think it'd be nice to ignite the old rivalry between me and Ryan.
The old rivalry. Oh, yeah.
It'd be pretty fun.
It'll
be really funny.
I would love to see where that goes. I forgot that there's an old rivalry there between you guys. Obviously as friends, I would, you guys aren't like bitter enemies or anything like that. But it would be absolutely hilarious to get you guys going again and see what happens from that. So, Ryan, if you're listening, people were emailing about you. So there you go. They want to know what's up. And the last question, this one I feel like can be answered by everyone, including Corey. This comes from Adam, which he will be on episodes here shortly in the future. But he writes to ask us, is life truly like a box of chocolates?
I would have to say no, especially considering the fact, and that's because now they actually put what the fuck is in the chocolates on the top of the box when you open it, so it's not even a surprise anymore. And even then it wasn't really a surprise, because if you actually figured out the whole secret, which was if you knew what the little designs they put on top of the chocolates were, you could figure out what kind of filling they had.
Well, goddamn. So
I got pretty angry.
I say yes, life is still like a box of chocolates, because there's only a few good chocolates in the box and the rest is shit.
I agree. I do agree.
So
I don't know. I love assorted boxes of chocolates. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I feel like it's the perfect analogy for life, because, as I said, there's a few good chocolates in there and the rest is shit. Just like life.
People.
And people. There is just a few really, really great moments, and then there's a bunch of shit. And I feel like that's why a box of chocolates is the perfect analogy for life.
I also feel like life is kind of like Mexican food. It's either really good or it's really shitty.
Yeah, I think that is pretty accurate, because like when it comes down to Mexican food, Mexican food is one of those few types of food where there is no middle ground. It's either really good or it's really awful.
Well, I feel like the middle ground though is when it's really good and then afterwards it's really awful.
Yes, when you're in the bathroom for half an hour praying to the gods.
Yeah, you're praying to the gods and your asshole literally feels like someone's got a fucking match stuck up in it and burning you from the insides out.
Like Greg said, screaming squirts.
It's screaming squirts. Exactly. So that would be another good analogy for life, because sometimes you'll have a good thing that causes bad things to follow. So James, what do you think?
I do think life is like a box of chocolates. Only because some parts of life are really good, and some parts of life you just, I don't know, you can't get away from. They're shitty. And chocolates, you're always going to have those shitty chocolates that you just can't get rid of because you don't want to eat them and nobody else wants to eat them, so that's what I think.
I think, Adam, the consensus minus Greg is that indeed life is like a box of chocolates. Greg, on the other hand, feels like no, it's not, and chocolates are really good. That's what I got. That's what I got.
Well,
what
'cause
Greg said.
what I always got from that expression was,
You never know
'cause
what you're gonna get.
yeah, you never know what you're gonna get. But I mean, that analogy doesn't work with the chocolates anymore because like now you actually do know what you're gonna get. We got to figure out another kind of analogy.
So on that note, remember you can email the show at 30minutesmayhem@gmail.com. You can message us on Facebook, tweet at us on Twitter, whatever you want to do, and we'll read it on the show. So any questions, comments, concerns, anything of that nature, go ahead and just shoot it at us, and we'll read it on a future episode.
Or catch it on the face.
Ha
All
ha.
right, guys, I gotta run. I will talk to everybody here later. All right.
Okay.
All right,
That's
see you
kinda
later,
sudden.
Corey.
All right.
All right, man. See y'all later.
All right, Corey. Well, that was awful sudden.
Yeah.
Still though, it was nice having him on. I really enjoyed having him on again. That was a funny ass story. I'm not gonna lie.
It was.
Well, I don't know what the hell happened. He'll probably text me and tell me what happened. Corey had to run, so we're gonna go ahead and finish out this with the third and final topic here, which is conjoined twins. Why the hell would we be talking about conjoined twins? And that's because we're dirty ass motherfuckers apparently, and the only thing that I can think of when it comes to conjoined twins, there's two really famous conjoined twins. I don't remember their names. Two girls. What do you remember their names, James?
It's Abby and Brittany, I think it is.
So, because I'm a fucked up individual, my only thought is like, how the hell do they have relationships? Because I mean, they got two heads, right? Now, this is gonna be so fucked up. But they got two heads, right? But it's not like, or at least as far as I know, it's not like they have like two different poopers or two different vaginas. So they like share reproductive organs, but they have like the two separate brains, right? So they're two different people. So how the fuck do relationships work?
I couldn't tell you. That'd be very awkward.
Like, if you're in a relationship with one, but not the other one, do you just like put one of those sleep masks on the one that you're not in the relationship with, and you're just like, here's some earbuds, you put the headphones in, and then you put like the sleep mask on them and they just don't look, and you go to town with the one that you are dating? Or is it automatically always like a threesome to where like if the one's sucking your dick, you can just drop your balls in the other one's mouth?
Oh my god. It'd be half of a threesome. 'Cause they have two heads but not two vaginas.
But like, what if one of the two doesn't like the other one's like boyfriend, like, I don't want you to date him, and she's like, well, you can't make fucking decisions for me. I'm my own person. I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do. And they're like, that's fine. Good luck trying to have sex with him, because I'm not gonna let it happen. Because we gotta be completely, consent has to be complete across the board, and we're sharing this vag. So I'm saying no, you're saying yes. So it's not gonna happen. Well, what if it happens anyways? Can the one say that she didn't consent to the sexual intercourse, and then therefore
It's rape.
one is rape and one is consent?
That is a
Terrible.
quandary.
That is terrible.
I have no idea.
So what do you guys think about conjoined twins and what I said?
I think that we are incredibly fucked up, and I think we're all going to hell. But I mean, we've pretty much known that for quite a while now, so that's not really anything too new. That is something that, well, I mean, like, normal people don't think of, but I mean, obviously, we are not normal people. I mean, we've established that before, so...
Corey texted me, by the way, and he said what happened was he was looking out his window and there was somebody looking extremely suspicious by his vehicle that he didn't recognize, so he had to go deal with that situation to find out what the fuck was going on. That does it for another episode of 30 Minutes Mayhem. I have been your host. My name is Michael Mayhew, and I have been here with my co-host,
James.
And Greg.
Don't forget to check us out on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, YouTube, all of that, Android, everything there. Check us out and donate to us on PayPal. And that's it. And I really hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Later, fellas.